Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to install a set of coil-over shocks on the rear of your F-150 pickup truck. Now this will work for the 04 and up. Quite a few different years it'll fit. I'm not sure what year it stops at, but like this truck here is an 05. So adding the coil-over shocks to the back increases your weight carrying capacity and gives your truck a little bit higher stance in the back. I'm going to be installing the Monroes, which you can see right here. 58643, and we'll go ahead and open them up. See what we got here. So there's one side, and this is the other side. So you can see what they look like right out of the box. I'll show you back here where we're going to be replacing them at. There's the shocks back here. So really it's not too hard to do. You'll be taking the bolt off up here, and then down below you'll be taking the bolt off underneath here also. Sliding the old shock out. Whenever you put the new shocks in, you're probably going to have to lift the rear up a little bit, allowing the axle to drop down to give you a little bit more room for that coilover to go on there. Now every truck that I see on the back has a different ride height, and I'll show you right here that this one sits about 8.5 inches, the wheel arch, about 8.5 inches over where the wheel is. So after we put the coilover on, I'll show you where it's setting at, and then you can kind of get an idea of how much it makes a difference on this truck. I went ahead and removed the wheel just to give you a really clear view about what I'm doing. You don't have to remove the wheel to do it yourself at the house, but you know, you'll be putting some lubricant on the top bolt and the bottom bolt down there to get it loose, and then you can see I use the jack to lift up the hitch in the back to lift up the body of the truck to get the wheels to drop down a little bit. So we'll go ahead and start taking these bolts off and removing the strap or the shock in the back. You will need to get something on the back side to hold the nut on the back while you're taking off. Opposite side, it really helps if you have an air impact or something, so you don't have to do it by hand. After you've taken the top one out, you see that the shock is loose. Go to the bottom side, do the same down here. So once you have the bottom one out and the top one out, and the strut or the shock should pop right out without too much issue. And just get that out of the way. So now you got your new coil-over shock on the back, and you want to make sure that everything lines up top. If it doesn't, just get everything aligned, and then you can start putting it back together. Now the perch side of it goes to the bottom, so you'll just reinstall it the way that you took it off. Now if you have enough room and it's too long, then you'll have to lift the body. So once you slide the bottom in and get the bolt slid in, get the nut on there, then you can go ahead and come up top and line this up. If it doesn't line up completely, then just kind of tap it until you get it close to where you can see the hole line up there. And then you can see that I've got the body a little bit high, so I'm going to go ahead and lower the body just slightly. Now keep in mind, if you're just using the body to lift it and the wheel's on the ground, then you'll have to lift the body. If you actually take the wheel off like this, then you can go ahead and use a jack to lift the axle up or down instead of the body until you get the hole lined up to get the bolt in there. Once you get everything lined up, then go ahead and slide your bolt in there and get the nut on the opposite side. And then go ahead and tighten up that and the bottom one. Now you can come over and do the opposite side, take the nut off and the bolt out, slide the shock off, get the bottom nut and bolt off. Once you get the top and the bottom mounting bolts off, you go ahead and pull your shock out. Really easy. Go ahead and slide the coil-over in there into the proper position. Go ahead and tighten the bolts back up. So once you've gotten the lower and the upper shock mounts back on, you got everything tightened up, you pretty much finished the job. Now keep in mind that every vehicle rides a different height. Yours might work a little bit harder to get it on, it might go on a little bit easier. Sometimes even whenever you let the rear end down, the bottom of the shock still is too low. So you gotta get a pry bar or something in there. A lot of times I use an alignment tool like this to stick into the hole to raise it, or like a pry bar like this to try to help align it, and then might have to use a rubber mallet to hit it into place. But they're really easy and simple to install. It's something that you can do yourself instead of having to pay a mechanic to do it. All it takes is basic hand tools. You don't have to have the air tools, you can just use regular sockets, it just takes you longer. That's how you do the coil-over shocks in the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel back on, get it on the ground, and I'll show you the height difference that it made. So now I've got the coilovers on both sides, and I've lowered the truck. I moved it about 100 feet to try to let it settle a little bit, and now you can see right here that's setting about 9.5 inches. So before I put them on, it was at 8.5 inches, I believe. So you know, it increased about an inch in ride height on the front, on the back. Now you're gonna need to either put you a leveling kit on the front to lift it up, and then increase it by another inch in order to keep it level from what the back stock ride height is. But having these coilovers on will increase your weight carrying capacity a little bit. Now it's not gonna, you know, be several thousand pounds, but you know, if you got a trailer that you usually have a lot of tongue weight on it, then it'll help you support the load now. Or if you use the bed to do some heavy loads of dirt or rock, then these coilovers will definitely give you some better stability in the back. Now keep in mind, everyone's going to have a different experience than what I've had and what other people have. So every vehicle is going to have a different ride height and ride experience with the coilovers on here. But that's basically how you put them on. They're really easy to install yourself. But other than that, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, share it, leave your comments below. Stay tuned for the next video, and thanks for watching, everyone.